stream. We don't stream, it's just recorded. But yeah, thank you everyone for coming. I decided this week what would be a good idea. We're still working, obviously, on the house. I've got a few more rooms put together in here in Blender, but I haven't finished it yet. You know, I've literally just hello. I've literally just stuck a few more rooms on the top. I haven't done the stairs going up yet. I haven't put the windows in. I've still got to do the window frames, recreate the patio doors and stuff. So yeah, it's not finished. But what I did want to do today, and this ties in nicely with making furniture and lights that I've been promising to do for weeks. This ties in nicely with what I'm going to cover today, which is the different methods of bringing your assets into your scene. You don't have to model everything there and then in your scene. You can model things in separate files if you wish, and you've got a few different options of bringing them in. You can import your model, you can append your model, or you can link your model. And I'd like to go through each of those three things and explain the difference between them, and also explain how this ties in with the asset browser, which is built into Blender, and it's a lovely thing where you can see little thumbnails of all your assets and you just drag them and drop them wherever you want them into your scene. And it's very easy to set up. So what I'd like to do to start with is to create a couple of very simple items that we're going to mark as assets. The first thing I need to do though is just go through the difference, isn't it, between importing, appending and linking. So to import an object, you always import it as one of a certain from a list of different formats. The most common being OBJ and FBX, and occasionally GLB. Any of these are supported though. If you've got any of these formats, you can bring them in. However, if you've created something in Blender and you've got it in a separate file, if you were to use this method, you would have to probably export your model, preferably as an FBX if you're going to be using it in Unity anyway, and then opening up your Blender file that's got your scene in and importing that FBX file. It's a bit of a chew on and it's a long way around. If it's already in a Blender file, surely you would think there would be a way of just bringing it in from that Blender file into your scene, and there is. It's called append. So I think the easiest thing would be to demonstrate append to start with, and then I'll demonstrate link and show you the difference. So I am literally going to delete everything because that's what we do, it's the law. And then bring in, you know what, let's start with the default cube. I'm just going to very quickly model something recognisable that we can then edit, and I'll show you what I mean. So let's say I'm going to make a dining chair. So I want it to be about, oh, why didn't that work? I want it to be about 1 inch deep and about 12 inches by 14 inches for the seat of the chair. That'll do. And I'll move it up so it kind of looks, I don't know, I'm just guessing, it doesn't matter because it doesn't have to be that accurate. That's a bit high for a chair. That's probably a bit low, but we'll adjust it afterwards. For speed, I'm just going to use a plugin that I've got. If you're interested in this, because it's cool as anything. You can search for something called Grid Modeler. It's not expensive, but it is paid for. And I just find this really simple for blocking out objects, which you can then edit afterwards. I'm just literally drawing on some legs. That's not what I want to do. There we go. And we'll just bring them down to there. Put that on the floor. Well, that didn't work either. Goodness gracious. Why is that? Oh, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. That'll do for now.
Just gonna tell us why.
Look, Daddy, no, see my boy.
Whoa, never thought you.
All I was trying to do was get the feet of the chair onto the floor. And what I've done to make it easier is I've just gone into X-ray mode, selected those vertices, put the origin exactly in the centre of those vertices. And now all I need to do is press Alt and G,
Good, man. Nice
and that's
to see you.
centred the chair exactly
Please be quiet.
in
Thank you very
in the centre of the world. I'm just going to quickly put a back on the chair. Actually, you know what? No, I won't. I'll just put it back on the chair quickly. It doesn't matter if it's square. That'll do. And I think I'll just scale it a little bit as well to make it look interesting. So yeah, it's a bit low. It's like a child's chair, but it doesn't matter. Let's just make those legs a bit longer. There we go. That'll do. Ish. I'm still not happy with it, you know. That's just me being anal. But here we go. I'm gonna. There's my chair. It'll do. There's my chair. So, actually, you know what? I'm still gonna fiddle with it. I'm just gonna select those and those.
I knew you couldn't refuse. Couldn't resist.
I know.
No way could you leave it alone.
I know. I just want a rounded back. That's all I want.
It looks much better now.
Right, so there's me chair.
Do that. You didn't do that too fast.
Now,
I think you round your corners.
I know, I just can't leave it alone. So we've got the chair. I've reset all the transforms by just pressing Control and A, all transforms, and that's reset the rotation and the scale back to 0s and 1s, which is exactly what we want. And yeah, it's kind of like a dining chair. It's a bit long, it's a bit weird, but you know, it'll do for now. So, what I'm going to do in order to append
Trey, you got an echo.
this,
Yeah.
we need to save it. I'm going to save as, and I'll just save it in our rooms folder, and I'm going to call it library, because you can have all your assets in the one file if you want. So I'm just going to call it library, because it's an asset library. We'll start with a new file, delete everything, and I'm just going to do file, append. So I'm not importing, I'm appending. And then you can find your Blender file you've just created, which we called library there. Go down to object, and it was still called cube because I hadn't renamed it to chair. I will next time. And you double click it, and there is your file brought in from a different Blender file. It's called library. And you can do that as many times as you like. Obviously, there's not much point doing that to bring in lots of chairs. Normally, you would just copy a chair, you know, and have as many as you wanted. But just to demonstrate, you can append again and again and again, and lots of different objects, but they'll always spawn where your original object was. Oh no, they won't. It'll spawn with the object origin always at the world center, and then you have to put it wherever you want it. But yeah, it's handy, it's nice. It does mean that every time you bring in an object, each one is a separate object. So you can see when we go down to the UVs section and the vertex section, this one has got a mesh name of cube 001. This one's got a mesh name of cube 004. So they are totally separate objects. Which means that if I decided to edit one of these, just for the sake of it, we'll drag one of these out. We can edit one because it's a different mesh to this one. If we had... Oh, this is another thing you can do as well. You don't have to use Shift and D to copy objects. You can use Control and D, and this will make a copy using the same mesh. You'll see they're both called cube 001. So if I edit one of the objects, the other one changes as well. So if you had a set of dining chairs and then you decided you didn't like it and you wanted to make a change and you didn't want to edit every single one, you just link them like that. You make a linked copy. But what I'm going to do is reopen the library, and I'm going to oh no, I tell you what, we haven't done linked yet, so let's just not save that. New file, totally blank, file, link, cube. And now what we've got is a linked copy. It's got a little chain link, and what that means is that if I decide to change the chair, I can't edit it, it doesn't allow you, but it does give you the option of opening the library. You can edit the object in the library, and any other files that have got a linked copy in will change as well. So it's kind of remote, like a remote way of editing your objects in there. So the only other thing though is you can't move it. I don't get a gimbal up when I try. If I use G, nothing happens. It's stuck there because that's where it is in the original file. In order to be able to move it, you have to do something special, which is to right click on your object up here, choose a library override, make, and then it's the selected object. So now, even though we still can't edit it, we get an edit error coming up, we can move it. So you can put it wherever you want. We're going to stick it over here for now. And then if I save this, I'm just going to call it tutorial. Don't know why I had caps lock on there. I'll save that and I'll reopen the library. And just to be awkward, I've decided I want to change something. So I'm just going to cut a hole in the back of the chair. That's what I'm going to do. There we go. And we'll save that and open up the tutorial. And our chair's got a hole cut in the back because it's linked to the original. So that is a really handy thing to know. However, there's a quick way of doing this as well. And this is by using something called the asset browser. So we'll start with a blank scene again. And if you remember where we'd saved the library, we'd saved it in, actually we need to open up the library, so we'll show you. Goodness, come on, Lisa. So it was saved in my Banter Projects Rooms folder, and then it's just called library.blend. But to make this show up in the asset browser, you need to mark it as an asset. So you right click on it and mark as asset, and you'll see now it's got a little icon that looks like 3 books on a shelf. So that means it will now be seen as an asset and will be listed in the library. So we'll save that again and we'll start a new scene. Delete everything. Now then, this is another useful thing that you may or may not know about. You can split your screen and have several different views, and we need to do this now, and there's 2 ways of doing it. You can either go up to the top here, grab the corner, and you can drag along that way, or you can grab the corner and you can drag it down. I tend to have problems with it. It's working for me today, but usually what I do is I just right click here and I choose a vertical split and drag it roughly where I want it, and then you can move it. So we've got 2 windows. This right hand one, I'm going to change it to the asset browser. And under current file, you'll find you've got no options. You can use what's in your current file or a named thing. And in order to fix that, we have to go into preferences, and under file paths, asset libraries, just add the library in, the folder. So it's volume name, what did I call it? Banter Projects Rooms. And then anything in this folder, if you've got any Blender files that have got objects marked as assets, they'll show up. So current file, rooms, it does a little search, and there's the cube. Well, we'll call it a cube, the chair. What I should have done was renamed it, but I didn't. Now here, we've got a few options. I'm not entirely sure the difference between append and append reuse data, because I've not seen that before. That never used to be there, so I need to look that up. But by default it's on reuse data. All you do is you grab your chair and you put it in your scene wherever you want it. And we can have several of them and rotate them a bit. You can literally just put them where you like. That is appending though, and you can tell that they're appended. Well, can you? They've still all got cube 1, which basically means, I'm guessing, yeah, I can edit it, but they're linked. They're linked copies. So if I can edit these, it's basically copied the chair from the first file, brought it in, and because I've hit reuse data, it's made linked copies of everything. I've just answered my own question. Presumably, if I just use straight append, they'll all have their own mesh names, and so they won't be linked, and I can edit each one. Yeah, that's right. So we've got cube 2, cube 3, and cube 4. And I'm just editing that one on its own. As I say though, they're not linked. We could change this to link and bring in a chair. Can't move it. We'll probably have to add a library override. Now I should be able to move it with a bit of luck. Yeah. If I save this as, and we'll call it tutorial, I'm just going to overwrite the tutorial file and open up our library again. We'll do something else. What What am I going to do? Just, I don't know. Cut another shape out, I guess. Yeah. Save. Tutorial. Yeah, and because it's linked, we've got the same shape cut out of it. So, what I could do is go into my house and go into the dining room. It isn't textured or anything yet, it's just a basic thing, but I could, if I wanted, open up the asset browser, choose rooms, and link and bring in my chair. Except it's not there because it's right in the centre here. It would have been in exactly the same place if I'd appended. To be honest, I probably should have done that, but never mind. We've just got to add a library override for it to work. And then I can pop it in my dining room and place it wherever I want it. Man, that looks like a kid's chair, doesn't it? Because the legs are so short. Man. But never mind. It's just an example at the end of the day. So, we'll open up our library again and I'll make something else. I'm going to move that. Oh, I've hidden it. I'm going to move. I keep hitting H instead of G. We'll move that over there. And I'm going to make a coffee table. Now, I happen to have, I'm looking at it now, happen to have an IKEA coffee table, so I'm going to try and recreate it. Now, do I still have my measurements on my little measuring thingy here? I have no idea. Possibly. Yeah. So, I think it is about... See, it's going back too far. How do I go the opposite direction? There we go. 0.45. No, it's about 0.6 by 0.9 and 0.45 high. So, we'll bring in a cube, 0.6, 0.9, and it's about, and here I'm being typically English and using a mixture of meters and inches. It's about 2 inches thick. And then I'm going to select that face, put the vertex there, because it needs to be the location about 0.45. There we go. That's the top of me coffee table. Now, I'll just quickly do some legs. Lordy. No, that's not what I want. And the legs are right flush with the edge of the table. Goodness gracious. About there. And then let's just bring a plane in and scale it. Okay, and I'm just going to extrude it down a little bit. It's really thin. And that's basically what my coffee table looks like. So we'll reset the transforms. And this time I'm going to rename it properly. I'm going to call it coffee table. And I might as well call this dining chair. No, you know what I'm going to call it because it's so small. I'm going to call it tiny chair because, you know, it's an old space reference. We'll mark this as an asset. And we'll save it. Go back to my house. And there's my coffee table. So technically I should be able, I'm going to leave it as append reuse data. And I'm just going to pop it about there. Which is a bit too far because I'm not leaving much room for the sofa, but you know, hey ho. But you see, because I put the origin at the very bottom, then that's what's going to rest on your surface. So that's why it's placed it perfectly on the floor. I'm going to open up the library again. And we'll move that over to here. And I'm going to create something else. So we'll start off with a plain. Let's have a look. We'll see maybe half a meter, 3/4 of a meter by a half. I'll show you what I'm doing in a second. I'm just kind of guessing. I'm holding my arms out as if I've just caught a fish. It was this big. I'm going to create a picture for the wall. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So we need to create a frame somehow. I think what I'm going to do is just go into face mode, inset it a bit. Control and I, and then I can just extrude it along the Y outwards and create a frame. And you know what, shall we actually texture this one as well? We'll just create colours though rather than textures, but we do need a picture to put on there. You know what, shall we pick a picture from maybe Discord? Like maybe event. Where's the event pictures? Why can't I see them? Am I in? Oh, they're all up here. Event snaps. There we go. Shall we pick a picture? That looks like a good one, doesn't it? Copy image. That'll do. Go back here. Yeah, we'll just paste it into there, I guess. We can't, can we? Doesn't allow you to do that. I can't remember what I used to use to just paste from the clipboard directly into a folder. It was some little application I used to use, but it didn't matter. We'll just paste it into GIMP and save it. Export as JPEG will do. There we go. So it should be shown there as event snaps.jpg. Lovely. Right. Just minimize that for now. I'll go into material preview. First thing I want to do is just create a material for the frame. So I'm just going to give it a colour, like a browny kind of colour. It's a bit greyish, isn't it? Make it a bit... something like that, perhaps. That'll do. And then this one, we'll create another one. This one we're going to assign to that plane. And under shading, I'm just going to drag in our image and plug it in. And there we go. Now I've not tried this with textures, but we'll give it a try. I'm going to call it picture. And I'm going to mark it as an asset. And then we'll open the house. We'll leave it as append reuse data, and I'll just choose that wall there and see if it works. Oh, it's rotated. Shouldn't be rotated. I'm going to try and fix that first. Library. Oh, it shouldn't be I know why, because it needs to be on the Z, I think. So, let's try doing this back to the way it was. Doesn't matter, because you can rotate it yourself afterwards, but I just like to know why it didn't work and try and understand it and fix it. So, there it is. Try and put the picture on the wall, and it's kind of worked. We've got some clipping, but that's easily fixed. We'll just go back, open the original. All I'm going to do is select that edge that goes all the way around. And I'm just going to move it down a bit on the Z. Move it down a little bit so it goes past the image, the picture. And I'm just going to set the origin to that edge. So the origin moves down slightly. And that should fix it. It's basically just lifted the picture off the wall. So open the house. Drag in the picture. Look at that. Look at that. I mean, why has it done that? Seriously. Blender, you're broke. Oh, man. That is just ridiculous. I haven't even done much. Yeah, those rotations need to be fixed. Right. Okay. What's the button? It doesn't work. Oh, hey! We've got a picture on the wall. So, and that is just using the asset browser. And it's so much easier. Once your scene starts getting complicated, it becomes so difficult to be modelling things actually in your world. I mean, you've seen what it's like even in here, just trying to move around and your camera's clipping through walls and stuff. And oh, it's an absolute nightmare. And it's so much easier to try and make something to scale. And, you know, it doesn't matter if it's not to scale. You can resize it once it's brought in to your scene. That's not a problem at all. Like, this should have been a bit taller than that. But yeah, it works. It works, and it is a huge time saver. Now, what I still haven't done is create a pendant lamp. We've still got like 20 minutes or so. So I'm going to create one now. Again, I'm just going to move that over to there. I'm just going to do maybe a simple modern lamp for now, because I don't really have time to be modelling complicated stuff. So we'll start off with a UV sphere, I think. And I'll just select some of these vertices and delete them. And we'll add a solidify modifier. Just check how thick that is. That'll do. That'll do nicely. And then this top bit, let's see. What I'm going to do is select all of those faces and delete them, because they're triangles anyway. It's just going to cause issues, I think. We will apply that so that I can edit all of the geometry, and then that ring. I wonder if we can do bridge faces, not bridge edge loops. Bridge faces. No, that's not going to work. Never mind. What we'll do is we'll extrude. Oh, undo that. Alt and A, extrude along normals to make that nice and small. Come on. Just select that edge, and we'll do, I think we need grid fill. Grid fill. No, that's not going to work. Lordy. Never mind. Select this loop here. I'll just make that a bit smaller. And extrude along the Z. Oh, there's a lot of geometry in there, lordy. That's not good. Yeah, I should have made it a much more simplified sphere. What I could do, of course, is let's just undo all of that. I've made things super complicated for myself. I'm going to delete those faces, select those edges and fill, select those edges and fill. That'll do. And then I'm going to just add as a separate object a cylinder, and I'm going to make it a really simple one with like maybe, I'm just going to use four sides, because by the time it's scaled down tiny, come on, by the time it's scaled down tiny and got shade smooth on it, unless you're looking at the ends, you can't tell that it's not rounded anyway. You can kind of in Blender, but in Unity it does a smashing job. Unity's great for that, but once you bring it in as a smooth object, it just looks like a cable. You can't tell there's only 4 faces, so it's super optimized. So I'm just going to bring that down so it intersects slightly with the top. And then we'll add a, I'll just add a circle here and bring that up. Lordy, I've done that wrong. Try again. Add a circle. I need to simplify the circle as well. So we'll give that 12 sides, so it's still kind of roundish. And bring it up. Make it a bit smaller. Go into edit mode, select everything and fill. And then we'll just extrude it up a bit. That'll do. And that face there is where I'm going to put me object origin. Select our other objects, that one last, because that's where the origin I want to be on everything. And join. Set that back to auto smooth. And then we just need to scale it. So holding my hands out again. I don't know how wide a lampshade would be. So let's just kind of pick something arbitrary. We'll say 12 inches. That's probably way too big. And I'll just copy the scale. Put it in the center. And hopefully, I think what we're going to have to do is rotate it by 180 degrees though. So, but we'll soon find out. Set the transforms. I haven't textured it. We can do that afterwards. Rename it to pendant lamp. Mark it as an asset. And then open up my house. And let's go into bottom view and hide some stuff. We'll hide that. I think what we'll do is we'll just separate these for now, so we can hide the floor. And then that makes it a bit easier to decide where I'm going to put the lamp. So I'm going to try and stick it kind of in the middle of the room. Ian, look at that, it's worked. It's hanging from the ceiling. How fab is that? So yeah, we've got a pendant lamp. It would be so easy to create a bulb, which you can just make from a sphere and stretch a little bit of it, and make that emissive and put a little light source in there, and it would look really quite effective. So how are we doing for time? 10:02. Loads of time. Let's get library open again. We'll move this over again because we'll keep doing that. And add. Yeah, we'll make it another UV sphere, but we'll make it a really simple one. 8x8 maybe. Probably can't tell when it's emissive, so I'm just going to leave it at that. And then go into edit mode. May need to add some loop cuts though here. I'm not sure. Proportional editing, maybe. Yeah, apart from the pointy bit, it kind of looks a bit light bulb shaped, kind of. Well, I was just going to get rid of the pointy bit, to be honest, like that, and then just extrude that straight down after that. You know, and you could kind of make this metallic where you'd screw it in and yeah, I think that'll do. I'm just going to fill the bottom there. Oof, oof, man. Let's just increase the angle there so it picks all of those up. And then we just got to scale it right down so it's kind of the right size. How big is a light bulb? About, I don't know, maybe, depends on the light bulb these days, doesn't it? Maybe 5 inches long, 4 or 5. We'll try 5. Right, now this is going to be the interesting bit. Vertex. Edge. Edge. And this one. Snap to selected and it hasn't worked. Selection to active, there we go. Okie dokie. Join those again. And I'm going to have to increase that angle again. Come on. Put the origin back there. And we've got a light bulb. Let's give it a material, shall we? We might as well. Let's give it a try. Emission. We'll make it slightly off-white, just a touch of a bit of a yellowy. And we'll copy that colour. You don't have to click on this and copy hex values and whatnot. You can literally hover over the colour, Control and C, and hover over emission, Control and V, and it'll pop it in there. So we have an emissive light bulb. What we're probably going to find is the entire thing is emissive. So I'm going to create something else. We'll call this one lampshade. And I'll make it a red colour. Maybe. Or a pink. I don't know. What colour do you want the lampshade? Green? You can tell I don't really have lampshades in my house, can't you? There we go. And we'll have it that colour there. I'll select those and assign that. How we're doing. There we go. And I think the rest of that can just stay like a white colour, really, can't it? So I'm just going to call it white. And we'll select that and assign it to the standard colour. Okay. House. Save. I'm just going to replace it. We appended, we didn't link, so I have to delete it and replace it. And with a bit of luck, it's not coloured. Why is it not coloured? Do I need to refresh it? Is that what it is, do you think? Refresh. Refresh asset library. Did I save it? No. This is the question. I don't know. I don't know what's wrong. Maybe I need to just close the thing. See, it's there. Pendant lamp. I have no idea. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out for next time. See, it hasn't even got the
Yeah.
bulb in.
But if you delete it and save it again.
It doesn't have any color there either.
Do you have to save the new coloured version when the bulb is the asset again?
Do you
For your
think?
library?
Oh. Yeah.
Don't know. Just guessing.
Shouldn't have to, really. But yeah,
Shouldn't have
could
to,
just
but
be.
sometimes when you add
I
an additional
know.
object to it, it just... I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Maybe you can put this one in the library.
Clear asset. Let's just make sure it's not showing up. Save. And it's not there. Mark asset. Save.
None.
Oh, look at that.
What?
Yeah.
That is a very large glass of wine. That's just what I need now.
Full to the brim.
Yeah.
So that was the problem.
Hygiene.
Yeah. See, to me, that's the whole point of having the refresh library button. But it clearly doesn't do anything.
No. As soon as you add another object, you have to just start again.
Yeah. Crazy.
Stupid.
It is. It is. But never mind.
So the
We
cycles.
kind of have a pendant lamp. I'm sorry, Bart, were you talking there?
Yeah, so cycles. Kind of
Yeah. Well, there's no light source, but at least cycles will show the... that's not what I wanted to do either. Cycles will show the indirect light from the emission in there, which is pretty cool.
If you put it like really, really intense, you probably would see.
It is kind of light in the room because it's not that bright. I could turn up the intensity, to, I don't know, maybe 5. No, that's not enough. 50.
100.
Yeah. It's
No.
barely light in the room, but you know, you need a proper light source in there as well, to be honest, to make it
5,000.
work in here.
These are
But-
1,000. Oh,
What?
5,000.
1,000, you reckon? That's because I've chosen white. That's why. Emission would help if I was adjusting the actual proper material. There we go. There we go. That's 5. Yeah.
100.
Ooh.
Oh, that
500. Hey. But then look at the light. I mean, Lordy, you go blind looking at it.
looks nice though.
Yeah, it does. It does, I know. Let's have a look. Viewport, denoise, and we'll turn that down so it doesn't spend as long. That looks a bit better. It's not all as speckly now. Yeah. But it wouldn't be too difficult to recreate that in Unity. And you can light rooms just with indirect lighting. It just doesn't look all that great. It messes with your shadows and your ambient occlusion. And, you know, if you want shadows, You need to use proper light sources as well. But when you combine the two, you get some awesome results. Indirect lighting and direct light sources can create really realistic looking spaces. This picture looks quite cool as well, doesn't it? Ah, yeah, that's a good. You never know. When I upload this, I might have a load of pictures of us on the walls. I think it would be cool.
That'd be good for a haunted house.
Yeah, it would, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the mushroom that we made last time, we'll refine that and turn that into a proper little lamp as well, and put that maybe on a shelf somewhere. I'd like to do like a table lamp for this coffee table. The chair, we'll concentrate on the chair a bit more, I think, next week, because we kind of started it, but I was basically, I mean, it would have been easier to point you to the YouTube video, but the whole point of me going through the same process of making a leather look chair was to then show you how you can reduce it from a high poly chair to a low poly one that works in VR by baking the normals. So what I'd like to do next week is we've gone through the basics of doing the chair. We'll do it again, but we'll make a sofa. We'll bake the normal map onto a low poly version of it. I'll show you how I remesh it using instant meshes. And then we'll bring that in as well. And I'm going to carry on working on the house, getting all the rooms done, so it'll be a bit more polished. And once we've got a little bit more stuff made for the house in Blender, we'll start bringing them all into Unity, and hopefully at the end of it all have a house that you can walk around in, go upstairs, jump in the shower, you know, whatever you like. So, yeah. There we go. Acid Browser. I can't recommend it enough. If you use the latest version, 4 point something we're on to now of Blender, which I should probably get myself moved over to, I'm sure all of these issues that we're having with the Acid Browser will have been sorted by now. I think the Acid Browser was only really introduced with version 3 of, I might be wrong, but I think it was only introduced with version 3 of Blender, and I'm still using 3.4 or something, so it's probably riddled with bugs. But I'll get myself updated and using the latest version. So yeah, there's loads of stuff on YouTube. If you want to look up again, if anybody else can explain better than me, I'm sure Grant Abbott will do a brilliant job. You could always look him up. The difference between appending and linking, I'm sure he'll go over it again, or you can watch my video again. It'll be up in a few days' time. And the Acid Browser. Please just give it a try, because you'll probably find it so helpful. You can literally just make one item and drag it around as many times as you like, and it's just a drag and drop, place it in your world. Very much like Unity is. So they kind of work together seamlessly like that. Can be very intuitive. So,
Thank you, Lisa.
yeah, I think I'm going to leave it at that
Yes,
now. You're
thank you.
welcome, because it's after 8.
We need a place to put an apple.
Thank you.
Need a place to put what? Oh, an apple. Yeah, maybe I
that
should
would
put a
be
little basket on there, or a little fruit
Yeah,
bowl.
yeah, not the bowl.
Yeah.
That would be good.
Lisa, I need to
Bailey,
Okay.
we
later.
Okie dokie. Thank you, Bart.
this one. Let's see if this works, shall we?
So, thank you everybody for coming along as usual.
Thank you.
Hope
We
it's
loved
been
it.
useful,
Thank you.
and I'm going to end the stream, and I can see everyone vanishing. So bye.
Okay.